So Coinbase launched its NFT platform last week to a lot of fanfare. People are pretty excited about this, but it really hasn't panned out super well yet. There's a little nuance here that we'll get to in a second. But the headline is that Coinbase's NFT market didn't splash as well as people thought. There's only been about 900 transactions so far, with a volume of about 73 Ether. That is compared to things like OpenSea, which see millions of dollars worth of volume over the same period with thousands of users. Coinbase has listed this in beta mode. So there's about 3 million people who are signed up for the platform, and only a fraction of those people have been whitelisted to be able to use it. So that can probably account for most of the low volumes and most of the low transaction counts on here. We will see if this thing really pops once Coinbase opens it up altogether. But this headline does add some value to the growing concerns that NFT markets are starting to slow down. There's been a few reports on Wall Street Journal and elsewhere saying that, like, hey, we've noticed that things are starting to not pop as well as they used to. That does run against some nice charts obviously on like Nansen and elsewhere that show that NFT volumes are actually like pretty steady for the last period. But I think some people are looking at some of these bigger token projects and these bigger NFT projects that just aren't getting bids. They're not selling the artwork with where they used to sell. Zach, I'll throw it up to you and get your take on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was that, that Wall Street Journal report definitely like raised a lot of eyebrows because the data seemed a little sus. And like there's been subsequent looking at like the on-chain reporting that suggests that no, the NFT market is not dead. It is not flatlining. It is active. It may be active with wash traders and other dubious actions. But if you look on chain, there is activity in the NFT market. I think the question here is, how many marketplaces is too many marketplaces, and whether or not there's going to be consolidation around one or two winners, or if there really is going to be this plethora of available options to anyone with an Ethereum wallet who can go from OpenSea to Coinbase to the Coinbase marketplace to whatever. And it seems like maybe that pie isn't as big as it was initially thought, right? If you go to this website, you have to connect your Ethereum wallet. It could be a Coinbase wallet. It could be a MetaMask wallet. It doesn't matter. It's similar. It's like a similar dynamic to how OpenSea works. Other exchanges have pursued more like, exchange account models, and maybe they're seeing more success in driving volumes. But as it relates to where the NFT trading activity is right now with, your wallet browser plugin, it seems like the activity is still living on OpenSea, right? Especially on Ethereum. You obviously have NFTs on other chains, on Solana. You have Magic Eden, which sort of is kind of establishing itself as the OpenSea of Solana. But the fact that Coinbase, kind of the biggest player in the room, stepped in with an open marketplace for anyone with a wallet to connect to, and basically saw crickets, is really an interesting comment, right? The sort of the frenzy, the FOMO, the activity, the excitement may not really be there as much as it had been, I don't know, 6 months, 12 months ago. And maybe that's what these less than stellar rollout numbers are suggesting. Whether that means those less than stellar rollout numbers are going to continue into the medium and distant term, time will tell. Who knows? Maybe we're in the early innings of winning this marketplace war. But right now, I think it's just like, how many players is too many players? And at launch, it seems like the Coinbase marketplace may be one too many player. But I'm going to throw it back to Will for his thoughts.
Yeah, quick comment, and I'll give it up to David. Thinking last year when Coinbase listed, that was also in April, and then the whole crypto market fell apart. Now they've launched this product in April. Wondering what's going to happen next. It's coming a little concerned. But like Coin ticker didn't do super well last year. It died pretty quickly, and since then it's been down a considerable amount. So maybe something similar happens. I don't know. David, your take?
Actually, Christy, you want to chime in?
So I think that the Coinbase curse does sound kind of interesting, but what what I kind of was curious about was the social media focused marketplace that it seems to want to be capturing as well, where it's trying to build a community. And I don't know if that's something maybe people just weren't ready for, or they didn't care about. They're just like, give me my NFT. I don't feel like having conversations with people. But then maybe that is the play that will work for the normies coming into it. We get a lot of new people onboarded into crypto in general through Coinbase. So this community aspect may be really an interesting slow burn, perhaps, for what is the market they're actually trying to capture. Right now, they are opened up to people who subscribed in advance. So presumably people who were already into the space, into NFTs, who in the meantime, while they were waiting, went and got their NFTs on other platforms. So you've got the first mover advantage happening on other platforms. And now they have to catch up. I mean, clearly these people were already interested in NFTs and they're like, well, screw this. I'm not going to wait around indefinitely for my turn. And they just went and did their stuff elsewhere. So now they're opening it up. Having a few people, I don't think that's a bad idea because it'll help them work out any kinks and iterate on what has been working and maybe what can work better as they begin to attract a larger crowd. So I'm not optimistic for Coinbase on this. I think it's just one of those we're going to have to wait and see if they pull in the new crowd on their new platform. So, David?
Yeah. So I want to piggyback on the comments about first mover advantage, because I think that's really the overriding story here. And I, in general, and this is from watching them for years and years, I have a very low opinion of Coinbase management. And I think that they've sort of demonstrated weakness in two places here. One is, I don't believe they've sent out like a press release saying we've only got 900 transactions, but they've clearly mismanaged the rollout of this product if they have stories that are putting that in the headline. And, I think that we've done a fine job of hedging that. But I mean, when you have something that's in beta and then you're reporting numbers, that can be misperceived. Obviously, there's an added problem here because this data is coming from the chain, not from their internal systems. So they can't like hold it back. But it does seem like they could have managed the messaging a lot better there. But I do also think that, like, second and much more substantively, I mean, it is wild that it is 2022 and they're just launching their NFT platform now. I mean, the buzz around this stuff started 2, maybe even 3 years ago. And the fact that they didn't have their eye on the ball is incredible. I mean, if you think about Coinbase's business model, they have been focused increasingly on going to the bottom of the barrel on tokens. That's what they've spent the last year doing. And people don't care about tokens right now. Like, the mass market for crypto, to the extent that there is one, the buzz is around NFTs. The buzz has remained around NFTs at the retail degen level. That's what people are speculating on. That's where the money's going. And they did not move fast enough. Full stop, period. Like, I think that they can grow from here, but they clearly did not deliver in a timely manner for this market. And the fact that they're in such a cyclical business and they're not able to execute in a timely fashion to match that cycle should be worrying if you're a long-term stockholder in Coinbase. I mean, this is an existential question for them. So I think that if you're looking at Coinbase as a whole, this should be concerning, I guess, on a macro level.